only had the long extension. Told her I'm a bad one, but I only got the best intention. Tougher, tougher, not a bluffer. I want you to be my lead, don't have to take it undercover. Just on the bells are ringing, people singing, rice is throwing, flower bringing. Ting-a-ling-a-ling, the honeymoon is when we going, and I take you to a place that you didn't even know exists. What's your wish? Gonna have the Eiffel Tower in Paris. Shot is in the basement party, yeah. Turn into the greatest party, yeah. Never see my baby coming.
Hello, everybody. I'm Larry Ridley. Welcome to the NFL on EA Sports. It's hard to imagine this not being a fun game to watch. It's the Bears going up against the Cowboys. With that, let's welcome in our fine broadcast team. Here are Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
Larry, we find ourselves right in the center of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex in Arlington and AT&T Stadium. Tonight, we've got a great Sunday night matchup between the Chicago Bears and the Dallas Cowboys. It's the first weekend of autumn, and the NFL is in full swing as off we go on EA Sports. And he won't return. And they'll start at the 25. So here are the Bears now for their opening drive. They'll be led out by their veteran quarterback coming off another 3,000-yard season. It's the 11-year man, Jay Cutler.
And if you ever want to get into a throwing contest, having Jay Cutler as your guy is a pretty good deal. This arm is absolutely amazing and astounding. He can zip it through anywhere and put it on anyone. The thing he wants now, though, is to win more games and win in the playoffs.
And he's brought down. They'll get 16 yards there. And the Bears are going to get a first. They were ready for what the defense was showing. They had prepared for that look, recognized it, went straight to the air, got the first. Well done.
Love the recognition because you can prepare for everything. You can watch the tape and put together your game plan, but you still have to understand what they're doing in terms of what they're showing and be able to adjust accordingly, and they did exactly that.
And he's brought down after a good gain. They get 25 yards out of that one, and it'll be a Chicago first down.
But that's what you're looking for when you want to throw the ball downfield. You want one of those guys who can play out on the perimeter, can play out wide, who can not only get open, but when they're covered, can uncover themselves downfield and create catches.
They'll run with a backup. This is Williams. Give him a couple on the carry there, 2nd and 8.
That's a good play by the guys on the defensive side of the ball. Held them to a gain of 2. And that changes the playbook a little bit now for the guy calling plays. 2nd and 8. Now he's got to probably think about going to the air instead of maybe staying with the ground game.
They run it again with Williams. And he's brought down. They pick up 12 on the play there, and they move
up a game. Really well blocked play. Picked up a nice chunk of yardage. If you're the offensive line, that's exactly what you've talked about all week long in your meetings. Establish the line of scrimmage and take control. And they gave their running.
Looking for Jeffrey, and it's intercepted. Picked off Byron Jones. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back. And he may want to track down that football because that's interception number 1 on his career.
You're saying that's going into the trophy case?
I'd put it there.
Yeah, no doubt about it. That's when you ask your equipment guys to make sure they hold it for you after the game. But if you play in the back 7 on defense, that's part of your job, finding ways to take the ball away from the other team. First play of the drive, let's give credit all around. Excellent blocking, but the guy carrying the ball, he was the finisher. A really nice run.
Here's Romo now on 2nd down. And the hit jarred loose. It's incomplete. The man with over 1,000 catches, Jason Witten, the intended receiver. And it's 3rd and 4.
Normally, he's pretty reliable. Usually catches what's thrown to him. On that play, he simply dropped it.
3rd and 4. From the gun on 3rd down, Romo looking for his running back, and he's got it. And he's able to get it to the 33. Good enough for a first down. A solid gain of 15 yards, and the sticks move.
So many times you hear today's NFL described as a space game. Get your best players into space with the football in their hands. That's why sometimes you swing it out to your runner, get him out in the flat, and let him have a chance to make people miss an open field.
Going right side, he has Witten. And he'll get up to the 43-yard line. It'll be a pickup of 10 yards. And that'll make it second and a foot or so.
Seeing that play and understand just how tough it is to cover tight ends, especially the ones running around the NFL nowadays, makes me glad I didn't make it in that league. I would have had a really difficult time.
But now you get to sit up here with me.
Yeah, and that's fun, isn't it? And what a really nice game right there on first down for them. Brings up a nice second down for them. How about a 6th-round pick that turns in 1,000-yard seasons his first 3 years in the NFL? That's Alfred Morris.
Yeah, that's productive. Fell off a little bit, though, last year in 2015.
And that's exactly why he's in Dallas and no longer in Washington.
On first down, Romo. And Bryant's got it over the middle. And he was able to shed the tackle, but the reserves come in for the stop.
When you see zone defense and you know you've got a drag route on as your primary call, you got to be really careful as a passer about how far you let your guy go because he might wander into some tough coverage.
The inaugural carry for Darren McFadden. And he's going to fight his way forward here for a modest gain. And it's still about 3 yards shy of a first as the 4-yard pickup brings it to third down. 7th play of the drive now as they come up on a 3rd and 3. Romo on third down. Complete to Jason Witten. And he will have a first down as they get him to the ground at the 37. First down coming there on the intermediate passing play. That's been a point of emphasis, they told us in practice, using those medium routes to keep the defense off balance.
And it wasn't just them telling us. We got to watch them practice it and work on it because they've been trying to fine-tune it and get it right before this game. And I think they have to be happy with the result.
It's a pickup of 4, and it'll bring up second down.
Not a run that you're going to write home about, but still a good first down run. That's what an offense calls staying on schedule. 3 to 4 yards on first down, you're set up very well for the rest of the drive.
They stay on the ground, but this time it's Elliott. And he's able to get it down to the 25-yard line. 8 yards on the pickup there, and it moves the sticks. Well, just play after play after play on this long drive for the offense.
That's a good, nice, crisp run for a first down. I wonder if the defense might have been loosened up a little bit, maybe anticipating the pass instead of the run that they got.
They keep on the ground with Elliott. And not much of a hole there as he gets it down to about the 24-yard line.
Holding offense.
So holding by the offense, and maybe now got to shift up what you want to do on the playbook.
Yeah, definitely. Change what you're doing in the playbook, but boy, these become bolder.
After the penalty, it's Elliott. And past the 30, down to about the 27. A good productive run there on first down. He winds up getting 8.
This drive is turning into an extended one, and the guy carrying the ball, he's becoming more like a body blows guy. Every carry is putting some damage on the defense. So after a while, I'm not too sure how many guys are going to want to run up and tackle him.
They'll try the air now with Romo. And Beasley with it over the middle. And he's brought down. A good gain of 14 there, and it moves the chains.
One thing I can say pretty safely, that route is not called if you don't have a guy who can throw the ball and put some mustard on it. Because if you're going to lollipop it in the middle of the field, bad things usually happen. It takes a strong-arm guy who can rifle it in there, and they were able to successfully complete that one.
And this play goes nowhere, losing yardage back to the 15. It's a loss of a yard there, and now second down.
So often you hear defensive coaches talk about we need all 11 on every play in order to be a good run-stopping unit, and sometimes it starts to sound a little cliche. But did you see the free safety on that play? Knifing through.
Under pressure, and he'll go down. They'll sack him on what ought to be the final play of this first quarter. Sitting alongside Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin as it is Cowboy football to begin quarter number 2. They're in the midst of a nice drive, but facing a 3rd and long here. Long drive. The defense just cannot seem to catch a break and get off the field. So it's 3rd and long, and defensively not a real surprise there in the dime. Now Romo surveying the field. Wide open receiver complete. And now they're inside the 10 as he's brought down at the 9.
I don't know how many times not just in my playing career, but you and I working together, have we ever heard a coach say, you know, I just don't have that play on my call sheet? And that's really what we had here. That was a big hole they were trying to get out of.
Yeah, big gain, still a ways to go, though. So it was a drive that seemed to go on for an eternity, forever. Our sponsors were probably saying, hey, we need to get our products in here on these commercials. But after all of that, 3 points as a result.
Yeah, it's hard to say who came out ahead there, isn't it? On one hand, you kept the defense out there a long time. But after controlling the ball for so long and just moving the ball incrementally down the field, a field goal seems like a bad result.
Onto the field now come the Bears. And the interception thrown in the red zone last time. We'll see if they can rebound.
I just have to think the last thing he said as they went back out there was, don't do that again. What do you think?
What do you think?
Yeah, I think that. I think that not only did he say that, but he also told him, let's put it in the end zone that it's supposed to be in, all right? The end zone we're trying to score. I know we're being a little bit facetious here, but the bottom line is take care of the football, and everything else should flow from there.
Quick lesson, never ask the play-by-play guy a question.
Hey, you're my partner. I know you're right there with me.
On second down, Williams. And he's brought down. 12 yards there as they move the chains. Smart approach there, using the run to pick up the first. And that was a defensive setup they prepared for this week, knowing that keeping it on the ground was the best way to attack it.
And that means also that they're able to read them pretty well. All the things they prepared for, when they get to the line of scrimmage, they see it in pre-snap recognition and know exactly how to attack based on their planning and preparation. Well, coaches always talk about finding balance on offense. I don't think you get much more balance than this. Big-time run, big-time pass.
A 1-2 combination. Looked pretty good.
How about that? Let's see if they can continue to take that kind of a punch, though.
And running room scarce here. He's going to be stopped in his tracks at the line of scrimmage. Credit him with a 1-yard gain there to make it 2nd and 9.
A 1-yard gain can look like a disaster, but it all depends on how the game is going. Is it a series of 1-yard gains running the ball? If that's the case, you might have to start thinking about throwing it a little bit more. But if it's just the occasional 1-yard run, hey, congratulations to the defense. They won that one. Come back and get them the next time.
He lost 2 there, and it's 3rd down. He's a second-round pick, a solid second-round pick. But when you're close to that first round, do you come in with a little chip on your shoulder?
You definitely do, because now your money's not the same. But even more than that, it's the prestige. Everyone wants to be a first-round pick, and he thought his talent demanded that. And I do know some teams in the league that had first-round grades on him.
Really, it's a solid draft class from a year ago. They were able to address some key weak spots on their team and fill in some holes.
And they were able to identify the players they wanted early in the process. Got a little bit of luck, as some guys may have fallen to them. But for the most part, knew their philosophy and stuck to it.
Now it's Cutler. The catch made by Miller. And he's going to get the first down here as he's taken down at the 22.
And that's a big pickup of a first down. And you know that all week, both sides of the ball, offense and defense, are going through every situation. And in this case, the offensive guys had the right play dialed up, because defensively, you work on 4th down situations as well.
And deflating for the defense. They can't get the stop here. Call it a gain of 4 on first, and that'll make it 2nd down.
We always like to talk about defense in terms of levels. First level defensive line, second level linebackers, third level defensive backs. On that run, that was what we call a first level run, and it was stopped by a second level player.
And he takes this one in for a Bears touchdown. And now on the year. And the Bears have retaken the lead. Solid job up front. Really just a solid job all the way around to get that one in.
That was well executed, wasn't it? Well blocked, well run. End result, 6 points.
Touchdown. The Bears send the kicking team out there, and they will send this one away. Now it's Lucky Whitehead on the return. And a good return as he'll be stopped just shy of the 30-yard line. Here comes the Bears defense now back out onto the field. And last time out, They gave up the chip shot field goal, but obviously could have been worse than that. I think they felt pretty good about only giving up 3.
No doubt about it. Anytime an offense gets into the red zone, the thinking naturally for the defense is, okay, 3 points. We're going to give up 3 here. Let's make it.
And that's caught inside the 30. And he takes it all the way down to the 28-yard line. A great job pulling that one in from a guy, as we know, who can really blaze. He's got a lot of speed.
And that speed can work for him so many different ways. Sometimes he just takes off and goes and just runs past people. Sometimes you get people to back off so far that you can catch everything underneath. But still, at some point in the game, you probably have to make some contested catches, right? Sometimes you have to go up and beat a defender for the football. He has that in his arsenal as well.
Showed it right there.
Some runs are blocked so well, you almost forget that someone has to carry the ball to gain the yardage. The leverage by the offensive line to create space up front, really well done.
One back is Morris. And he'll get it up the middle. And they'll bring him down at the 13-yard line. 9 yards on the pickup there, and it keeps the drive alive.
So many teams want to throw the ball in this situation nowadays, but I love watching a team that has enough confidence to go ahead and run the football. In that situation, that's almost a tendency breaker.
First down, a run with McFadden. And he goes backwards here, losing yardage back to the 16. A loss of a full 3 yards, and now it's second down.
And frankly, Brandon, we're talking about things I'm not sure we ever thought we'd talk about in the NFL, and a lot of that is the speed at the linebacker position. A lot of these guys in college, they were safeties. They moved them up to outside linebacker to combat the spread offenses, and now we're seeing it in the NFL. Those same guys using their speed to make plays in the backfield, similar to that one.
We remind you that coming up in 2 minutes' time, we'll hand you off to Orlando, where Larry Ridley will have highlights and analysis of this first half of action. Again and again, it's McFadden. And he's going to get it inside the 10 to the 7-yard line. 9 good yards there on the run, and now third down.
Partner under the heading of really strange injuries. Darren McFadden.
He kind of takes the cake, doesn't he?
All right, let's get it straight. Broke his elbow. Unfortunate for him, trying to save his phone from falling. But he made it back for the season, and so did the phone.
And looking to pick up where he left off from a year ago, sort of a surprise 1,000-yard rusher in 2015. A 5-yard gain, and now they're set up first and goal.
And thus far in this NFL season, no touchdown scored for him, and he's not going to get it on that play either.
They come out here in the eye. And here we go on first and goal. Now Elliott. And he will take it in for a Cowboy score. Ezekiel Elliott with his first career NFL touchdown. And the Cowboys have once again taken the lead.
And while that touchdown does not give them an insurmountable lead, it's still a lead, and that always feels good to a team.
They'd love to take that into the lockers, but a little time left on that clock, so some work to do.
I like that. I like how you're guarding against a letdown there.
Already looking forward.
Coaching them up from right up here in the booth.
This fielded a few yards into the end zone. And the decision to come out is going to cost him 5 yards with a new rule as he's taken down right at the 20-yard line. And some changes here as the D-line separates some. They begin the drive with Williams. And he'll get this up over the 25 to the 26. Give him 5 on the carry there, and it'll be second down.
And that's exactly what you want on a first down run. Pick up 5 yards, bring up 2nd and 5. The defensive line, though, they've got to figure out a way to out-leverage the guys up front because the offensive line is winning at the point of attack.
And this will go as a short gain on what will be the final act of this first half. So we have come to halftime here in Dallas with the Cowboys out in front as we send you over to our headquarters in Orlando where we check in with Larry Ridley for our EA Sports Halftime Report.
Thanks, Brandon, and welcome to the EA Halftime Report. I'm Larry Ridley. Let's take a look back at the first half. The Cowboys had a great passing game going last week, but haven't put up the same type of numbers so far. The Bears' defense obviously has something to do with that and should be credited. So here we go. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from the first half. Bears with the ball midway through the second. Williams going to stay inside after the handoff, and he capped off the 9-play drive with a TD. They're now on top by 4. Now 1st and 10. Williams has got the catch over the middle, and it's going to end up going for a gain of 42. Cowboys have it later on the drive. Elliott's going to break free after a stiff arm, and he'll take it in for a touchdown.
Well, my apologies, Larry. I wanted to hear the report. Somebody's in a hurry. So we're going to get them right to quarter number 3. So both teams have their marching orders, and we'll get going again here in quarter number 3. This one fielded at the 5. And he's up past the 20 to the 22-yard line. Here comes the Bears defense now back onto the field. They're losing here as we begin the third quarter, trying to stop this from being a bigger deficit.
And I used to play for a coach who always talked about getting the other team's attention. And in this case, they want to let them know that you're
trying to impose their will as we start the third. And he'll get to the 29-yard line, brought down there.
And when you're playing a quarterback with some experience and some moxie, you enter the danger zone when you decide to blitz him because if he's able to diagnose as he did on that play, he can hurt you downfield.
He reads defenses so well, doesn't he?
He really does, and the best part about that play for him, I don't think that was his primary target.
I don't think so either.
I think he had the read, figured out where the blitz was coming from, and went to a secondary target for a really nice game.
And he's brought down.
Illegal block in the back. Offense. Still second down.
Second down to the offense, needing 5 yards.
Let's go.
Here's Romo now on second down. And he takes a shot on the release as this will be incomplete. Well, pretty good coverage there, and both of these defenses, they've had good coverage throughout this one.
No doubt about it, and in today's NFL, where we're used to a bit more scoring, this feels almost like a well-pitched game in baseball on both sides where the tension continues to build. Who's going to make the big play?
Got a man over the middle. It's Williams. Call it a gain of 3, and that's going to bring up a 4th down. Out now comes the Cowboys punter. And surprisingly, this is the first punt of the game for either team. This is taken at the 15. He can't bring him down.
The weight room does work.
A big kick that time, 52 yards. And the Bears take over. So here are the Bears now as they get set for their first possession of the second half. They were able to get the stop defensively. Now a chance really to set the tone here in quarter 3.
They can really take charge, can't they? And this is probably how it was drawn up at the half. I think we can go inside the locker room, all right? And I think we would see up on the grease boards, stop them defensively, get the ball back for the offense, and let's go downfield and score. Seems simple, right? The last part, we have to find out that's going to happen. But the first part worked to perfection. Did exactly what they wanted, and now their offense has to pay it off.
See if they can get the latter 50%. They'll lose a yard, and it brings up 3rd.
Jalen Smith out of Notre Dame, Partner, that's got to be one of the best stories in the NFL, seeing him out on the field.
Yeah, it really is. That injury that he had during the bowl game against Ohio State, boy, that hurt his draft stock. So nice to see him out there.
I had him rated as the top player in his class in 2016 before his injury. He ends up going in the second round, and now he's starting to make the plays we expected to see.
Sheds a second man.
He's building up some momentum, isn't he?
And all the way down to the 24-yard line. A big play there for the Bears on third. 45 yards on the ground. So after that big gain, let's see what else the offense has up its sleeve. Trailing here in the third, and that run might just be the spark that this offense needs.
And don't you just get the sense that he's going around not just in the huddle, but looking over at the bench and saying, ball, give me the ball. Let me carry this thing home.
Give him 12 yards on that one. It earns him a fresh set of downs.
How many times do we say in this game that speed kills, and it does it in so many different ways? In this case, you got a back who's quick and shifty, can make moves, make people miss, but also gets to and through a hole before it can close down. That's some of the benefits of that speed, not just outrunning people in the secondary. That led to a really nice game.
And he will maneuver his way down to about the 7. And they give him 4 yards there. It'll be 2nd and 6.
But really, that was no surprise there. They've been running it well all game. And I know goals change all the time, but any team will take that type of run each and every time.
Again, it's Williams. And the hole closes quickly here. He can fight only to about the 4. 3 yards is half of what they needed. Now can they get the other 3 here on third down?
Well, praise has to go to the guys on the offensive line because they've had a very nice, productive day running the football. How about that poor defensive line? They've been knocked around the entire game, and while they slowed them down on that.
Got his man, and it's caught for a Chicago touchdown. Marquise Wilson, his 3rd touchdown now on the year. And the Bears have once again taken the lead. So on 3rd and medium, they dial up the pass, and it works to hit the end zone.
And it's really not a surprise to me. That's a throwing down in the NFL because of how tough it is to run the football. But what offenses like to do is still show run formations to make them respect it and throw out of those. In this case, they took a nice shot at the end zone and made it pay off.
And he'll get across the 20 before he's brought down at about the 23-yard line. So out come the Cowboys now as their offense gets set to take over. And a tight game after punting last time. See if they can get something going on this drive.
As they head to the field now, with the game this close, you've got to feel there's a sense of urgency for them going on offense right now. But they have to do it without letting panic creep in and affect their play.
And this one goes nowhere. Losing yardage back at the 22. That's going to go as a loss of a yard, and it'll be 2nd down. And the offense behind the chains here a touch on 2nd and 11.
Well, on that play, the expression, don't blink, you might miss something, certainly applied. That was fast. Defense diagnosed the play, and it was over in a heartbeat.
Going right side, he has Winton. And he's brought down after a good gain. A good pickup there at 22.
And another reception by Jason Witten, all reliable for Tony Romo. You know what they say, partner? Once you get your first 1,000 catches, it's all gravy after that.
Yeah, one of 2 tight ends. He and Tony Gonzalez in the 1,000-catch club in the tight end department.
Get ready.
On 1st down, it's Romo. And Bryant's got it over the middle. And he'll get it into enemy territory just across midfield at the 49.
I know many people like to throw to the tight end, maybe in a little flexed out position because he creates mismatches with his size. But slot receivers do the same thing with their quickness, their speed, and their route running savvy.
Romo, he's got his man on the crossing route. And he's brought down after a good gain. A good pickup there at 22.
An ex-teammate used to tell me all the time, I hate experienced quarterbacks because no matter what, you really can't hide what you're doing. And I think that right there, he knew right away where the blitz was coming from, where his primary guy was going to be, and he ended up going to a secondary target for a nice game.
I was just going to ask you, that wasn't the primary target, and he's so good at that, isn't he?
I think he knew right away that he wasn't going to get to his primary guy. I think he read that as soon as he got to the line of scrimmage, knew where the pressure was going to come from, and said, I know how to beat that, and that's what he did.
Romo throwing again. Out left side here to Bryant. And he's brought down. A nice pickup there of 11 yards, and it'll move the sticks.
That was a nicely run slant route, and what the receiver's trying to do is make the defender think he's going upfield for a deeper route, and then breaks it off, usually after about 3 to 4 steps, and cuts towards the middle of the field. And now what he's trying to do is use his body to keep the defender away from the football and give the quarterback a really nice target.
No gain on the play. It'll be second down. Well, a well-executed blitz, no doubt. Great job by the linebacker. Maybe the quarterback, if he could have seen that, could have audibled there.
Yeah, he needed to be in a different play because that one just meshed perfectly for the defense. All the gaps were filled except for the one the offense really wanted to run through, and that was filled by a big man wanting to make a tackle.
And he made a great tackle.
How about the timing on that one? Boy, they were in sync, weren't they? 3-step drop, balls out of his hands, right to the tight end. Nice completion, just like they do it in practice.
Elliott. Back now here on EA Sports. It's the Cowboys in possession of the football, but they trail here as we begin the fourth quarter of play. Now, it's just their first. They'll be down to 2 remaining as we step aside here in the fourth quarter. And Bailey able to knock it through. And the lead is down to 1 now at 14-13. All right, so this one's now back within a field goal, and if anybody tells you they see how this one's going to end, I'd have to say they're probably lying, Charles.
And this game's had more twists and turns than a good mystery novel, and I have a feeling we've got a few more twists and turns in store for us before they shake hands here.
And now Chicago getting ready to go as they take the field. And now last drive so successful with the ground game, ending in a touchdown. Do you stick with that formula?
That would be the number one thing you would think of, but so many guys now would look at it and say, we've got them set up so well for play action, now's the time to take a shot. Yeah. But, you know, there was a big-time coach in the state of Ohio who once said, if you throw the ball, if you put it in the air, 3 things can happen, and 2 of them are bad. He would have kept it on the ground.
They'll try and run down some clock with Williams. And he's got it up over the 40 to the 41. Give him 4 on the carry, and it'll make this a 3rd and about 2. And in this situation with a lead fourth quarter, they're liking keeping the ball on the ground, I'm sure.
That's just smart football, but you know the defense has to know it as well. They've got to stop them here. So now we're going to see that loading the box in a big way. 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever it's going to take, puts a little bit more pressure on your big offensive line.
They'll try and run for it. Here's Williams. And he is going to lose yardage here. And a loss of 3 to bring up 4. Here's Pat O'Donnell now as he's on to punt for the first time tonight.
He's had a big game tonight, and while no one's going to be overly concerned about that last play, you also know that the offense coordinator does not want to see that happen again. They want to get back to doing what they've been doing all game long.
And a nice job here to down this one right on the 5-yard line. And now here come the Cowboys. And last time they got 3 points, but it was a chip shot field goal. And when you go to the sideline after a chip shot field goal, maybe the offense not too happy.
It's a balancing act, isn't it? Because you're exactly right. They're none too pleased that they didn't punch it in for 6 points. But you also have to remember they did put points on the board.
3 points is 3 points.
And in this league, you take points when you can get them. Not easily done. And there's another completion to the tight end. And let's face it, it is hard to overthrow a 6'6" target.
It is indeed. Quarterbacks like their speed guys. They like that huge 6'6" target that they've got in him.
They really do, and it reminds me of what one great tight end told me once. He had told his quarterback, just make sure you throw it up there. You know, kind of like put up in the top shelf where the kids can't get it.
And a new set of downs here after picking up the first on the ground. They come out here in the eye. Again, it's Elliott. And he'll take this one up close to about the 45. A gain of 3, second down.
They know that old expression, it's not my night. It hasn't been his so far. I don't know if the legs are a little bit heavy. Sometimes having to hang out all day and play doesn't exactly play to your advantage, but it's been a tough go for him.
And every time he looks up, somebody's there defensively. That was the same case on that play. Here's Romo. And on the left side, he's got Witten. And he's brought down after a good gain. A really nice gain of 25 yards.
Partner, it's a lot of fun watching the NFL now, isn't it? Because when the big fella runs routes, it used to be when we were kids, he'd run about 3 different routes, and that was it. Now he can run anything and catch the balls we just saw there.
A first down carry by Elliott. And able to push his way forward here for a good little gain. 5 yards on the carry. Good pickup on first down.
Frustrating for a defense, energizing for an offense. Finding a way to create that type of yardage in your running game, that'll make the guys carrying the ball very, very happy.
Now it's Romo. Throws a quick hitter on the slant. That's complete. It'll go as a gain of 6 that time, and it moves the chains as well. Simple slant route, and partner, really nice hard throw by the quarterback.
Nice timing between the quarterback and the receiver. They were perfectly in sync, and he put it right on him on the inside route.
Romo hands to Elliott, and they'll get him down right around the 16. 3 yards on the pickup there, and it'll be second down. And he's back here in the struggle department in this one like he was a week ago. And partner, I think you can pin some of this on that O-line. That room to run, just not there.
You mentioned last week that it felt like the offensive line was getting beaten to the punch by the guys across the ball.
It was pretty evident, I thought.
I mean, they were off the ball fast, penetrating, getting into the offensive backfield, really spilling a lot of runs before they got started. So I thought your observation was spot on then, and you're right there again this week. Same thing is happening, not able to get started because they're not able to control the point of attack.
Now play number 8 on this drive, and they need 9 yards to pick up the first on third. Throwing on third down, Romo. Hard throw, incomplete. Cole Beasley, the intended target. And now it's 4th down. So a big kick coming now for Dan Bailey. This for a 4th quarter lead. Now they've got to be a little frustrated here to not complete that on third down after having such a long drive going.
But you're talking about going over 70 yards on the drive. Yeah, did you say a little frustrated?
Very frustrated.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Very frustrated. There's no doubt about it. They thought they were going to have a chance to cash in the end zone. Now it looks like it's likely a field goal attempt.
This fielded a few yards into the end zone. And he's able to get it across the 20, but not by much, as he's marked down at the 21-yard line. And now Chicago getting ready to go as they take the field. And they're coming off a 3-and-out, my friend.
I think they've got to look at that play sheet and go to a spot that they haven't gone before. Time to shake things up a little bit to try and get this offense moving.
Okay, so how do you do that? How do you shake things up?
You look at what you've called before, realize it hasn't worked so well, and maybe you try and find one of those special plays from one of your better players, and maybe try and hit something big and get things going in the excitement area. I'm going to show my age here a little bit. We used to talk about running backs catching the ball as safety valves. Nowadays, they're a big part of the passing offense.
Quit acting like you're so old. You're only 65. Marquise Wilson, the one he was trying to get it to. And it's 3rd and 5.
Well, any caused incompletion is good for a defense. But when you add to it, you get a little hit on the quarterback, knock him to the ground, make him think a little bit, hopefully knock him off his game, especially in a game of this magnitude, this tight in the 4th quarter. Got to feel pretty good as a defense.
On third down, Jeremy Langford. Not much room here as he only gets it to about the 30. It'll be a gain of 4, but it won't be enough. It leaves him with a 4th down now. Time for a break. We'll come back, see what transpires after this. So the Bears with the football here as we welcome you back. And they've got a 4th down now in a game that, to be honest, has been pretty much everything we could have asked for. He gets this one away, and boy, it's another boomer. We'll call that a punt of 54 yards. Well struck. And the Cowboys will be backed up to start the drive. They'll have it 1st and 10. Ezekiel Elliott gets ready to go again here on offense as he shuffles onto the field. So after that hot start, the numbers here show the decline. What has the defense done adjustment-wise?
Sometimes when you have a running back who's gotten off to a hot start, you've got to catch him before he really gets going. So you change what you do across the defensive front. Instead of the linebackers being back a few yards, you bring them up closer. It's what we call mugging the line of scrimmage, taking away a lot of
Now the Bears electing to call a timeout defensively. It's just their first. They've got 2 more to use here in the final stages. So now 11 yards to go for this offensive unit. It's second down. They go to Elliott again. And he'll take this up. And now the Bears going to signal for another timeout. That'll leave them with just 1 remaining in this 4th quarter of play. So second down was a run play. Now let's see what they do on 3rd. Romo now to throw. He's got time. Complete to Jason Witten. And play is stopped here. Timeout. It's the defense calling the timeout here. That'll be their 3rd and final stoppage here as we step aside.
Let's go.
Romo gives to Elliott. And he'll work this one up to about the 38. It's a 7-yard carry to set them up with a 2nd and 3.
I know that every now and then we get in those meetings with coaches, and you almost want to roll your eyes when they talk about staying on schedule when they're moving the football. But would you say a 7-yard run is ahead of schedule?
4th quarter with a lead, you love that, don't you?
No doubt about it, because staying on schedule is trying to get 4 downs on first down. They did that plus 3.
Right here, right here.
Now with the play clock down to 2, we're going to get a timeout here. So the offensive unit called the TO, and now we are ready to resume play. And on the outside, they're playing press coverage. They come out here in the eye. They run with Morris. Looking for an opening, not much there. He'll get it to the 39. Give him a yard on the run there, and that's going to set up a 3rd down and 2. And prior to this 3rd and 2 play, we're going to get a timeout call. So the offense took the timeout. Looks like they're ready to go as we get set to resume the action. Victory very much in sight now as they'll take a knee. Out now comes the Cowboys punter. On for his 2nd punt. He'd take a repeat of his 1st. The kick's away as he angles this one for the sideline. And the punt over the side in the air, and the spot will be in.